internet, how's it going? Welcome back. You know, talks of the PlayStation 5 have been hitting really hard as of late. You know, with people speculating like when the console's gonna come out, when's it gonna be announced. They thought that it was gonna get announced this E3 until Sony kind of pulled away from that. So most likely we might not hear about that for a good while. You know, or we might not hear anything from a PlayStation 5 perspective until 20. So there's always a possibility for that, you know. So moving on to something that is a little bit more interesting, they did go on to say that, or at least like fans have speculated that, give or take, with all the news coming out for the PlayStation 5 of how it's gonna look, how it's gonna be more VR focused and everything else. They also went on to say something about PlayStation, about the PlayStation Store, that there was supposed to be another like PlayStation Plus Premium, which was guaranteed early access to like certain games, as well as provide a private server for the user. Now, specifically, I don't know how that's really gonna play out, really. But at the same time, though, the more that I look at it, the more that I think about it and everything, it's like, well, I can actually see that coming about. The only problem with that is sort of the same problem that's kind of flooding the PlayStation market now, which is that you have PlayStation View, you have PlayStation Now, and also you have PlayStation Plus, and coupled on top of that, you know what I mean, also have coupled on top of that with those three functions, adding like this brand new function on top of that, yeah, man, like means like a brand new price point, a brand new service, and something that people need to kind of throw their money at, which they might not necessarily like, you know, because again, for as much as I would really like there to be a service which gives me access to free games, I mean, PlayStation Plus already does that, and I'm pretty sure that you know, like that with them swapping out games like every month. This new service, it does seem nice, but it's not something that is gonna like change anybody's mindset about the PlayStation 5, you know. So again, I'm kind of liking it, but at this point in time, it's like if they do that, hopefully they do kind of think about actually making a bundle service to kind of give us everything like all in one. Other than that, they did talk about basic things like backwards compatibility and all the basic stuff like that we already know. So that is that for the PlayStation 5. Moving on, we have more Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines news, and this time they were talking about clans. And it seems as though that this one's gonna focus a little bit more about like or at least like the story sort of continuing on, or at least like they hint at this, add that with this, where they say that you start out as a thin blood, and then basically as you play along in the game, you can actually choose like which clan you want to be. As they went on to say that we wanted to pick those clans that deliver a clear player fantasy. So if I'm someone who just likes to punch people in the face, we have a clan for you. If you're someone that in a normal role play game would play a wizard or something, we also would say we also have a clan for that. Now, honestly, specifically, they do claim that they had five clans prepared. But based on what I'm talking about, if you want to play this, you do this. You want to play this, you play that, which is a big staple of what made the first game so popular. Because if you just want to be a brute, then you can be a Bruja. If you want to be a brute who summons things, then you can be somewhat of a gangrel. If you wanted to be somebody who basically stalked the night and whatnot, and you wanted to be a monster, then you would play as a Nosferatu. If you wanted to charm your way through problems, you would play a Toreador. If you wanted to be like the wizard mage and whatnot, then yeah, you would play a Tremere. The same thing for if you wanted to basically dominate everybody, you would play a Ventru. Like basically every problem had its own layout, and each class, it was easier for them to do specific things, you know. I mean, like some problems you could solve easily as a Nosferatu because they had the ability to turn invisible. Like again, like the Ventru could dominate people's minds. Now they didn't say anything about the Malkavians. In this case, the ones like who were insane and could make other people insane, which surprisingly enough, it is actually pretty interesting. But they didn't say anything about that, so hopefully they do come up in the future. Now they only say that they had five of them ready, but I guess that possibly if they don't mention the Malkavian, the only reason is because that in the previous game they had to rewrite everybody's dialogue and re-record it specifically for that one class. So they might not feel like doing that, or like if the game gets popular enough and they do get some DLC in there, they might actually write them in so that you can play as them. And finally, we got some wonderful news from Granblue Relink and Versus as the director Tatsuya Fukuhara, as they went on to kind of give us a big list of their plans for frame rate and potential PlayStation 5 versions. You know, they did say like this is for Relink and this is for Versus. Now most of it, I'm just gonna cover some of the basic stuff, such as that they were like that for this and also Versus, like they're going for 60 frames. However, for Versus, they might go for, not Versus, for Relink they might go for 30 frames per second depending on the final visuals. And that being said, it mentioned that our goal, that's our goal for now. Now, as we said, as we have it running at the 60 frames per second. As for this one, yeah, basically like they are going for 60. They're also worried about putting in way more characters and like what's okay for some of the for like a character roster now. Granblue Fantasy Versus definitely is going to run at 60 frames per second, as it's a fighting game. On worldwide, like on a simultaneous worldwide release. Versus is aiming for that, and I believe also Relink is as well. It's also aiming for like a worldwide release. The biggest news though, because basically most of this is talking about like what they're doing with characters, what they're doing with like how that Relink is going to be more story based, whereas Versus is going to be more character based. But basically, universally though, is that they are worried that this game is coming out very late in the PlayStation 5, in the PlayStation 4's life cycle. However, like if the PlayStation 5, if that gets announced, then they might consider putting both of these games onto that console. But but for now, they're just focusing on, we're just gonna just focus on getting our games down, finished, and getting them polished, so that we don't have to worry about anything. But that is what I gotta say about that. I'll catch you guys on the next Jongravesshow. Blah blah blah. So subscribe and do all the wonderful stuff that people always ask at the end of these videos. I'll see you next time. Out.